making headway in the direction of mercury-free mining. Over 500 graduate from Secondary Competency Certificate Program and Agriculture Month launched. You're watching Weekly Digest, a government information agency program that keeps you updated on what the government has been doing. With the details, I'm your host, Vindia Tameshwar, and we're coming to you from the Sophia Exhibition Center in the hype of Guy Expo 2013. Here are the details. Ghana is up to date with its reporting responsibilities under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and the country is currently in preparation for its third national communication document. A consultation exercise was recently held at the Ghana International Conference Center with stakeholders from the forestry sector and other relevant agencies to review the work done so far, identify gaps and synergies, and to propose initiatives that can be undertaken within the framework of preparing this important document.
We see this not only as an opportunity to report on how we are meeting the convention's obligations, but more importantly to highlight the various initiatives that Guyana has been undertaking to respond to climate change. This third national communication process is happening at a time when climate change is being underscored not only as an important global issue, but perhaps the most important global issue that we are facing today and we are likely to face in the future.
In Guyana, climate change continues to receive urgent policy attention at the national level. The country, with its low-carbon development strategy, is seen by the international community as a leader in the battle against climate change.
Guyana has one of the lowest footprint in greenhouse. And it is important that we try and keep it that way and ensure that positive changes through development will continue to focus on positively maintaining the status of Guyana in this biodiversity as a whole, which contributes to good climate. You know that the impact on the Guyana Shield alone will move south all the way to Peru, Bolivia, if it changes. But luckily, it is intact at this point.
Since Guyana signed on to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in 1992, it has prepared and submitted two such documents. The first was done in 2002 and the second in 2012. The mining industry is very receptive to new technologies that does not involve the use of mercury, and the government of Guyana will be offering incentives to make this transition even easier. Minister of Natural Resources and Environment Robert Pissard recently visited the operations of Karaya Mining Company in Olive Creek Region 7, which has transitioned to mercury-free mining. The company now uses shaking table technology in its washing process.
At CMC, we're now transitioning from using mercury to using a shaking table, and we wanted to ensure that our workers are satisfied, there is no jiggery-pokery in the processing, and that they will get the true earnings from whatever they do. Now, that's where we are, and most of our workers are pleased with and satisfied, I must say, that the table is giving them the requisite production that they're looking at.
With this equipment, the washing process takes about 2 to 2.5 hours maximum, after which the washed gold goes straight to the furnace for smelting. Mercury, which is a highly toxic chemical element, is over $20,000 per pound. The government of Guyana aims to gradually phase out its use by 2020, as it recognizes the environmental and human health risks.
Because it's said that it's difficult to change old practices and old habits, but we've seen here a company doing it out of economic rationale because it makes economic sense, but also out of environmental concerns and also an awareness what's happening globally. Globally is that we recognize that the convention will soon be coming in place where we'll have restriction in the trade of mercury. Access to mercury by our local mining sector will be very difficult and very costly, and it is our intention to work with the sector in phasing out the use of mercury, and development such as this will give impetus to that effort.
We believe that it's important that all the people in the mining community work with the government to make sure that we can do mining on a sustainable basis. And we all know that mercury is a poison, and it is far better for us to be able to eliminate it from the production system.
The shaking table allows for 98% recovery, simple to operate, and has the capacity of about 255 pounds per hour and can recover very fine gold. With Agriculture Month recently launched, Guyana is joining with the World Food and Agriculture Organization to celebrate World Food Day and the 12th Caribbean Week of Agriculture.
Agriculture Month this year will be celebrated under the theme Proud to host Caribbean Week of Agriculture, linking the Caribbean through regional food and nutrition, security, growth, and development.
We touch people not only in Guyana, but around the world. Our sugar, our rice, our vegetables, our fruit reach people around the world, literally around the world. And Guyana is known for its agriculture. We have historical impact on people around the world. The best known products from Guyana are in fact our agricultural products.
Most products that Guyana has been importing are now produced locally, such as broccoli and corn. Guyana has also been exporting more fruits and vegetables than before.
Guyana is working to ensure that we are similarly a nutrition secure country. A country in which we not only produce much agriculture products, that we produce high quality products, but that we produce nutritious products. Products that ensure that we can eat in a manner that keeps us healthy and withstand diseases such as diabetes and hypertension and cancer.
World Food Day will be celebrated on October 16th at Mon Repos with the celebration of a cassava festival, while Caribbean Week of Agriculture begins on October 6th.
A recent ER Borough School of Art graduation highlighted the government's effort to push youth development.
33 youths recently graduated from ER Borough School of Art in various majors such as graphics, textile design, lettercraft, painting, ceramics, and drawing. Andre Jacobus, Shivali Lal, Kesha Pilgrim, and Luciana Walters were the top 4 students who graduated with a diploma.
We want to offer our creative people the opportunity of getting those degrees and certificates and diploma and so forth. And that's why we're moving in this direction. Art, anywhere in the world today, it's one of those growing fields. And in the area of creativity, there's something now that is talked about called the creative industries. And it entails various facets of the art. We need to grow it. These institutions would allow us to do some of the work, but we cannot remain in the state that we are in right now.
This year, the students have made 315 costumes for the Mashramani competition, and there has been an outreach program where 30 persons were being trained to go into various communities to conduct art programs.
We have also started to honor some of our well-known artists, and I was very pleased that the visual arts competition and the exhibition, through that medium, that we were able to recognize the works of Philip Moore. And not only that, one of the commitments that was made there, and that is now continuing, is that we would like to create a catalog of all of Mr. Moore's work. And that is something that is ongoing. And I think, these are the kinds of work that we need to have in our society.
The ministry is also planning to create an art fund, which will be a joint initiative between the public and private sector. The aim of this art fund is acquire artworks and create a market where the pieces can be sold, allowing persons to benefit from their hard work.
In order to prevent illegal broadcasting, the Guyana National Broadcasting Authority has established a deadline for all station operators to submit outstanding documents.
Radio and television station operators have been given until October 31 to submit all outstanding documents to the board of the Guyana Broadcasting Authority, GBA, or they would be deemed illegal broadcasters.
We have now put a cutoff date for people to pay their fees and have their licenses issued. And that date is the 31st of October 2013. After which date, the entity will be considered to be broadcasting without a license.
These stations include the STVS Channel 4, the Learning Channel, NTN, WRHM, NCN, Tarzi in Berbice, and others. The deadline was established by the board after letters were issued to them requesting that they submit the outstanding documents.
Under the law, when people are broadcasting without a license, there are certain penalties, certain procedures, certain penalties, certain things that have to be done.
They were among those which had been given approval to continue under the Postal and Telegraph Act until they had prepared the relevant documents to apply for licenses under the Broadcasting Act.
With the Amaila Falls Hydropower project, all consumers will benefit from cheap and reliable electricity. In fact, reduction in consumer tariffs will be at least 20% in 2017 and considerably more in the years ahead. This project will save residential, commercial, and industrial entities approximately $3.5 billion over a period of 20 years. At present, it costs about 25 cents per kilowatt hour to generate electricity using heavy fuel oil and about 30 to 35 cents per kilowatt hour using diesel. With Amaila, Guyana will save a dramatic 20 to 25% on its fuel importation bill, or about $90 million. Investors' confidence in Guyana will increase, and the manufacturing and services sector will be significantly boosted. In the climate change arena, Guyana has already taken on a leadership role with its low-carbon development strategy, and with this Amaila project, the country could also become a leader globally for renewable power. This project will add 6 percentage points to real GDP growth during the construction phase alone. The total public debt to Guyana for this project is zero. Cheap energy is vital to the industrialization of Guyana. Thousands of jobs would be created due to industrialization. After 20 years, the hydropower facility will be 100% owned by Guyanese, and it is expected to last 100 years.
Guyana needs the Amaila Falls Hydropower project because all consumers will benefit from cheap and reliable electricity. Consumers will save approximately $3.5 billion over a period of 20 years. Guyana will save $90 million on fuel importation, and investors' confidence in Guyana will increase. More jobs will be available. All Guyanese need to come on board now. Reduction in consumer tariffs will be at least 20%. Millions of taxpayers' dollars have already been spent on the Amaila Falls Hydropower project, which is now in its final stages of achieving financial closure. However, the APNU and the AFC teamed up in Parliament to kill the project without any valid reason, and in so doing taking cheap electricity out of the reach of Guyanese. Frustrating a project of this magnitude at this stage is tantamount to strangling the country's development and putting at stake the future of every man, woman and child.
The Guyana Power and Light over the years have tried in every way to make electricity more affordable to consumers, with electricity tariffs last being raised in 2007 when fuel prices was a fraction of what it is today.
Prime Minister Samuel Hinds, along with Guyana Power and Light's Chief Executive Officer Bharat Dindyal, visited the John Finance Wharf to inspect the $32 million 5-component Wärtsilä generator sets. This equipment is set to be installed at the 26-megawatt Breeden Hoop Power Station by next month end and will be in operation by April 2014.
And that is where the money goes. That is where the money is what the money is required for. And this money, in the first instance, should come from the bills that people pay for electricity over some period of time. You know what we want, you know what I want. I want Amaila to happen because with these units, burning heavy fuel oil, the lowest cost oil we could put hand on. I would say that all up, including fuel, including recovery of capital investments, including all O&M, my estimate, my number is like 23 cents a kilowatt hour of generation in total, all things taken account of. And we're looking to have electricity delivered at Sophia at 12 cents a kilowatt hour initially, just short 50% of it. And then I think after 10 years, it gets down to about 7-8 cents. And after 20 years, the cost of a miler would be paid off, and the generation cost is down to maybe no more than 3 cents, maybe 2 cents a kilowatt hour.
The engines, which have a capacity of 8.6 megawatts each and will be contributing to the Demerara system and eventually to Berbice and parts of the East Bank Essequibo system, will be moving from an 80 megawatt capacity to about 106 megawatts.
We have already surveyed the road, all the bridges in particular, from Parika from Archie's Point to the project site. The Ministry of Public Works has awarded a contract for repairs to the section from Archie's landing to Parika Junction. The work is complete. They brought what's called a flyover bridge. And those bridges that we think cannot carry the 130 ton weight, and of course it's a long trail and there are many axles. Most of these bridges on the West Coast are designed for like 50 tons maximum. So where we think the bridge might have there might be some risk in crossing the bridge, they've brought this flyover bridge, which is going to be placed over the existing bridge to provide support. So there's going to be a long, tedious journey from Archie's Point to the project site. GPL and GT&T crews will be tracking the equipment to ensure if we need to move line plant out of the way, that will be done.
However, with these new sets, power generation will be up from 5.5 to 8.7 megawatts using heavy fuel oil. Hence, the Amaila Falls Hydropower project is seen as critical to the future of the energy sector.
This year saw over 1,000 secondary school students completing the Secondary Competency Certificate Program, which serves as an alternative pathway for the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and desirable attitudes to prepare students to further training and/or join the world of work.
Due to the large number of students who have completed the program, 3 graduation ceremonies were held. In August, 2 graduation ceremonies were held for students in Regions 2, 5, and 6. And most recently, another was held at the National Cultural Center for the remaining 525 students from secondary schools and practical instruction centers in Georgetown and Regions 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 10.
They have to show that they have the skills, the knowledge, the aptitude that are needed in the workplace. They must pass all subjects examinable for each program they are doing, inclusive of the core subjects and the elective they are doing. Technical education and training, TVET as we call it, which we have chosen, is an education system that provides you a lifelong career.
The Education Ministry is committed to meeting the requirements of the Caribbean Association of National Training Agencies, CANTA, and CXC, which will facilitate the delivery of a labor market relevant to the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ.
Certification, therefore, will give them an opportunity for employment in both private and public sectors as level 1 workers. 2, access to CSEC, the CSEC program. Entry into post-secondary institutions as technical institutes to pursue an advanced program, because having completed level 1 in the secondary schools, they will then be enrolled in the technical institutes in the level 2 program.
The SCCP seeks to increase access to quality technical and vocational education, produce more skilled persons available for the job market, and enhance employers' access to a more skilled workforce.
The shipping arrangements for the 5,000 tons of fertilizer coming from Venezuela are yet to be finalized. However, the cost of that fertilizer will be at a reasonable price.
Ships with which arrangements were made have now informed the ministry that they would not be available for the set dates, which would have seen one shipment arriving between the 23rd and 24th of September, while another would do so in the following week.
So the rice ship that go with rice, it would be nice for them to come back with fertilizer, but we can't. There are regulations that prevent that.
Rice farmers, depending on where they are located, currently pay between $7,000 and $10,000 for a 48-kilogram bag of urea. And with the expected shipment of fertilizer, they will be able to save between $3,000 to $5,000 per bag. The ministry is currently working out a model of distribution.
Every farmer will benefit. Every rice farmer will benefit. So whether you're small or large, you will get a portion. How much of it you get is going to be the equation we are developing. So I could say at this point that the large farmers will not meet all of their needs through the provision of this. So they'll have to buy some of their fertilizer on the present market that exists. But it is possible that some of the small farmers will meet all their needs.
During a recent visit to Venezuela, the minister succeeded in getting manufacturers to agree to supply Guyana with 5,000 tons of fertilizer.
Guyana needs the Amalia Falls Hydropower Project because all consumers will benefit from cheap and reliable electricity. Consumers will save approximately $3.5 billion over a period of 20 years. Guyana will save $90 million on fuel importation, and investors' confidence in Guyana will increase. More jobs will be available. All Guyanese need to come on board now. Reduction in consumer tariffs will be at least 20%. Millions of taxpayers' dollars have already been spent on the Amalia Falls Hydropower Project, which is now in its final stages of achieving financial closure. However, the APNU and AFC teamed up in Parliament to kill the project without any valid reason, and in so doing taking cheap electricity out of the reach of Guyanese. Frustrating a project of this magnitude at this stage is tantamount to strangling the country's development and putting at stake the future of every man, woman and child.
With the Amalia Falls Hydropower Project, all consumers will benefit from cheap and reliable electricity. In fact, reduction in consumer tariffs will be at least 20% in 2017 and considerably more in the years ahead. This project will save residential, commercial and industrial entities approximately $3.5 billion over a period of 20 years. At present, it costs about 25 cents per kilowatt hour to generate electricity using heavy fuel oil and about 30 to 35 cents per kilowatt hour using diesel. With Amalia, Guyana will save a dramatic 20 to 25% on its fuel importation bill, or about $90 million. Investors' confidence in Guyana will increase, and the manufacturing and services sector will be significantly boosted. In the climate change arena, Guyana has already taken on a leadership role with its low-carbon development strategy, and with this Amalia project, the country could also become a leader globally for renewable power. This project will add 6 percentage points to real GDP growth during the construction phase alone. The total public debt to Guyana for this project is zero. Cheap energy is vital to the industrialization of Guyana. Thousands of jobs would be created due to industrialization. After 20 years, the hydropower facility will be 100% owned by Guyanese, and it is expected to last 100 years.
During Cabinet's meeting on October 1, His Excellency President Donald Ramotar and government ministers discussed several issues of national concern. These were subsequently relayed to the media.
Cabinet, during its statutory meeting on October 1, gave its no objections to 9 contracts in the areas of local government, agriculture, labor, housing and water, youth development, education and legal affairs. The 12th Caribbean Week of Agriculture will be held in Guyana, and many officials from countries in the region are already here. Issues such as food security and rural development will be high on the agenda for discussions.
The state of Guyana's agriculture will continue to absorb public and regional attention. The evidence of the resurgence of Guyana, the breadbasket of the Caribbean, is there for all to see.
The 12th Caribbean Week of Agriculture is being held under the theme Linking the Caribbean for Regional Food and Nutrition Security and Rural Development. The National Insurance Scheme is celebrating its 44th anniversary with a strong resolve to collect the millions of dollars in arrears.
The scheme's major focus for its 45th year and beyond was identified as data and debt management. Data and debt management.
Meanwhile, the government remains focused on the primacy of the anti-money laundering legislation and meeting the obligations to the Caribbean Action Task Force.
The government recognized that it had failed to meet CFATF deadlines for the submission of the enacted anti-money laundering legislation. Guyana will be reporting again in November, specifically November the 18th, on particularly developments surrounding the handling of the anti-money laundering legislation by Parliament.
Failure to fully comply with the task force will see Guyana being labeled as non-compliant, and this could lead to serious sanctions.
And with that, we've come to the end of this week's program, but before we go, here's a recap of the highlights. Local miners making headway in the direction of mercury-free mining. Over 500 graduate from Secondary Competency Certificate Program, and Agriculture Month launched. Do remember that Weekly Digest and other government information can be found on our website www.gina.gov.gy, or you can send us your comments and suggestions to gina@gina.gov.gy. Thank you for watching, and do join us again next week for another program. Until then, be safe and have a great week ahead. Goodbye.